Hello, hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Rochelle, where we move away from awareness towards action. Tonight is day 11 of Visions of Happiness, a special edition of Warriors Talk. And this is my poem collection that I feel like a reporter I've been working on for the last 10 years, and I'm done. So I'm sharing this with you. I'm sensitive about it, but you know what? I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and I'm just going to put it out in the atmosphere and see where it goes. So tonight we're going to be, I will be reading my poem titled Total Healing. And if you ever in your life have been sick or diagnosed with anything and you receive total healing, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's go. Total healing. Leaving me empty, dazed, and confused has fueled the warrior within me. No longer a bystander. Instead, I'm soaring with the wings of a conqueror, trusting, depending, and believing for my Father to pull me through. Counting on rainbows after the storm, it illuminates the spirit within me. Total healing I pray for, mentally, physically, and spiritually, leaving me free and empty for my Creator to use me as He pleases. Survivor or thriver, we're all equal in God's eyes. Walking in favor, saved by grace, praying while slaying giants, landing them on their face. And in the midst of my prayers, crying out to the Almighty, total healing is what was granted to me. And that was a short one. So that poem is titled Total Healing. And it brings me back to me after my surgery and having to go and meet with my surgeon, and him shaking my hand and telling me, we got all the cancer. The only thing we found was a pencil lead, that cancer the size of a pencil lead. So when you hear that, you just rejoice. But going into that surgery, I already knew I was healed. I claimed my healing while I was still doing chemo. And that was before my surgery. That was before radiation, because I was just trusting in God. And I knew that he was going to heal me. I had an encounter with God one night, and when you have an encounter with God, it's amazing. So I was having so much pain. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't walk. And I was like, oh my God, like, what's wrong with me? And I was like, just wondering, was this the end of me? Thank you, Dion family. I appreciate it. And I was wondering, like, was this the end of me? And I was just laying in my bed and I was crying. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't walk. Every time I would stand up, I would wipe out, so I had no energy. So I was like, Lord, what's going on? So that night I prayed. I was just laying in my bed. I locked my door because I didn't want my girls to know, that I was in pain, that I was crying, and that this may be my last night. I really felt like, that death was coming to visit me. So I cried out to God. I was praying. I was reading my healing scriptures and, just telling him all these things, that you said, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Lord, I'm asking. You said by your stripes we are healed. Lord, are we healed? You said that you came to give us life more abundantly. You said you had a plan for me, So I'm reading him back all his scriptures. You said you would give me, four scores and 10. So I'm like, where four scores? Where is it? Where is it? That's 70 years. I ain't 70 yet, and you want to live past 70, but when you feel like your life is going to be cut short before you even get there, it's like, wow. So I was like, Lord, hear me, Lord. So I was listening to, inspirational music, and I was just crying, like the ugly cry. Like I didn't care. I was just crying like, Lord. And that's how I was calling him. I was just calling him out like, Lord, Lord, do you hear me? Do you hear me? Do you see me? I'm in pain. I can't walk. I can't even stand up. I need you. I need you like right now. Like, and I was just crying, and I was saying it just like I'm saying it to you. That's how I was saying it to him. And so as I was sitting there listening to my music, this song came on. The presence of the Lord is here. And he was letting me know, that I'm in the place. Like I'm here. And when I tell you that the whole atmosphere of the room changed at that point, like the mood just got so much lighter and the room got so much brighter. And I just sat up and I started wiping my tears. And I just started telling him what I wanted. Just not that he didn't even know what I wanted, but I was just like, what father or what parent, don't want to hear a child say, hey, daddy, I need this, and he's able to grant it for you. So I was just crying out to him, and I was telling him, Lord, I need you to heal me. Lord, is this the end for me? Am I about to die? Like, what's going on? And so then the next song came on was Let Go and Let God. You can't handle this on your own. And once I heard that song, the tears just started immediate. They just got heavier and heavier, and they just started flowing. And I knew that night I had to just let go and let him do what he needed to do, because I couldn't heal myself, but I had to depend on the Creator. I had to depend on God to do it. And so that night, I just let go. From that day forward, I said, okay, you know what? And that was in May of 2014. And I wasn't even done with chemo. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to let go and let God do what he needs to do in me so that I can be healed. And that night I surrendered, because I was trying to do it on my own, but I couldn't. So I just surrendered to him and I allowed him to do it. And then he is so strategic in what he does. He showed me myself in a vision. He showed me healed. He showed me exactly how it's going to look. He showed me exactly what I was going to be doing once I got healed. And once I saw that, I knew that I was going to be all right. I knew that he really did have a plan for me. And that, just because there was a cancer diagnosis, that was a storm that I had to get through. I had to get through that storm in order to get to the other side, to be able to walk in my purpose that God had for my life. I talk often about the pebble, the rock, and the boulder. Like, sometimes God does things to get our attention, and we're not paying attention because we're so busy doing everything else and serving everybody else. And so he threw a pebble at me. And when somebody threw a pebble don't hurt. You just like, ouch, okay, what was that? And my pebble was having blood clots in each lung in my legs. I had pain one day in my chest as I was doing my homework from school. I couldn't breathe. And I was like, Lord, what's going on? I can't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. And I was like, I'm just going to go to sleep. I didn't even finish my homework. I said, I'm just going to go to sleep and figure out, what's going on with me. So I ended up going to sleep, but I couldn't even get out of the bed that morning. Like, I couldn't even get myself up. So I had to call my husband, like, hey, come get me up, get me dressed, and take me to the emergency room because something is wrong. And when I got there and I was telling them, what I was feeling, they did a scan, and they said, you have a blood clot in each lung and you have one in your leg. And I was like, what? Like, where did this come from? And they said they don't know, where it came from. So I ended up having to get on blood thinners and, having to stick myself in the stomach. They had to show me. They was like, before I stayed in the hospital, I think I was in the hospital like 3 days. And they said, you don't have to learn how to stick yourself in the stomach before you go. We need to make sure your blood levels are okay before you can go, and then they gave me, restrictions on what to do and what not to do. I was getting ready to go, on a cruise. And I was like, what? I'm getting ready to go on a cruise? And am I going to be able to have fun going on this cruise, having to worry about sticking myself in the stomach and, scared that I'm going to bleed to death and whatever. And they was like, just enjoy yourself, but just be careful. And so I went. So my blood clots in each lung in my leg was my pebble. And then I ended up, God threw a rock at me. He ended up throwing a rock at me. I ended up getting pregnant with a baby that they, because I was taking the blood thinners, they was like, don't get pregnant. Well, I ended up getting pregnant. And they said, well, you was taking those blood thinners. And when you take blood thinners while you get pregnant, the baby can have skeletal issues or be deformed. So think about getting rid of the baby or whatever, or think about having to raise, a special needs child, because, that's what she'll be because of the medicine I was taking. I was like, Lord, please, and I thought about aborting the baby. I made my appointment and everything. And I was like, I don't feel like taking care of a special needs child like that. And so I just got up, oh no, I had a dream that night. I had a dream before my appointment. That morning, me and my sister that passed away from cancer, we were both in the dream, and there was a little baby in between us, and we was pushing the baby. I was pushing the baby towards her. She was pushing the baby towards me. And then she was like, I don't want this baby. And I was like, I don't want this baby. And then next thing you know, I woke up, and that was the morning I called myself going to get rid of it, right? But God had another plan. So I ended up having the baby. She's healthy. And, just what if I had operated out of fear and got rid of my baby? And that's why we should not operate out of fear, but operate out of faith. instead of fear, and know that, you know, if we have faith in God, that He will see us through. He will pull us through. And so my boulder was my cancer diagnosis. You know, I couldn't function unless, you know, God helped me move that boulder. And, you know, I talk about the mountain, you know, it's a song, you know, don't move the mountain, Lord, don't move the mountain, you know, but give me the strength, you know, to stand. And sometimes he won't move it. Sometimes he'll take you around it. Sometimes he's going to take you through it, you know, but he's going to be there every step of the way that you're going through. You just have to call on him. You have to say, you know, you have to, Lord, I need you. I can't do this by myself. And so if you are an individual that has a cancer diagnosis, or you know someone that has a cancer diagnosis, then I'm encouraging you to don't try to do this by yourself. You can't do it by yourself. You know, call on your family, get you a support team. Your support team is crucial to your survival. I'm telling you that it could be between you making it or not. You need a support team. If anybody being negative, get rid of them. You have to put them at a distance. But get you a good support team, and you call on them. When they say, do you need any help? If you need something, say yes. Allow them to help you, because once you start taking the cancer treatment medicine, you're not going to be able to do stuff on your own. So you're going to need that help. You will need that help. So allow people to help you. Allow yourself to be taken care of. And you know, because like women, we always taking care of everybody. So allow somebody to take care of you in your time of need. And it's not just because you have a cancer diagnosis doesn't mean that you're weak. You didn't do anything to cause this. So don't feel like you're weak and, you know, that you can't do anything anymore. Don't. You're not weak. The fact that you're fighting cancer, you're a warrior. You're a conqueror. And you use that strength to keep pushing through. So join me tomorrow night, which is day 12 of Visions of Happiness, which is me leading up to my 50th birthday celebration. I don't know what type of celebration I'm going to have, but because I couldn't have the one that I wanted. But June 28th is my 50th birthday, so I'm so excited that I'm here. I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 43, and I was diagnosed with the blood clots when I was 41. So, and I'm still here. And so I'm grateful that I'm here. So the poems that I'm sharing with you is a transformation for me from pleasure to pain, pleasure and pain to purpose. So this is my transformation. My poetry is my transformation from pleasure and pain to purpose. So as you read them, as I read them to you, you'll see how I have grown in my poetry. It's a 10-year span. So I'm excited to share with you. Join me tomorrow night right here at 8 p.m. 28 poems, 28 days at 8 p.m. This is Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Rochelle, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time. So I'll see you tomorrow.